Hi! Welcome to my show, Cooking with Curlee. And guess what today is? Today is January 1st, 2022. Oh, Happy New Year! I've been cooking a lot of sweet stuff, yummy stuff, but now it's time to trim it down a little bit and start focusing on some healthy, nutritional, good stuff in a different way for you. And I thought, what other better way than maybe start out with breakfast? So today, I'm going to show you oatmeal apple pancakes. All right? The great thing about them is they're sugarless and they're gluten-free. All right, the first thing you want to do is get an apple. I like a Honeycrisp apple, yes. And we're going to just shave it. Easy stuff, right? Just shave it down to get 1 full cup of this particular apple. Now, this is kind of the second stage, but I'm doing this first because I'm going to show you the other part later, okay? But we're going to kind of prep up here a little bit. And what I like to do is, this is easy, right? You just want to wash the apple and then just kind of shave it down a little bit. Of course, you don't want to get too far into it where you get seeds involved, right? I've heard a story about seeds. Then again, when I think about seeds, I think about Johnny Appleseed. Remember him? I think he went all around and planted a bunch of. I think he's the guy that planted all the apples in the United States. Just kidding. But legend has it he planted a lot of apples, huh? Anyways, I really like this recipe a lot because it's tart from the apples. And then it has some applesauce in there, right? But I like it because it's got no sugar. But these apples here, this part of the apple, which is added to it, just gives a lot of texture too. And you got them oats, which is a great way to start your morning out. And then I always like having my favorite toppings, but you can have your own too, right? Whatever you like. All right, so we're going to take this apple. We're going to put it aside for a minute. The key here is a little bit, I wish I would have had something here. I'm going to kind of put it on the table here. But you want to squeeze this out, okay? If you don't squeeze it out, it's going to be a little too runny. You'll see this? I got kind of one of these, I don't think it's fancy, but you get to do it like this. I'm going to squeeze these a little bit, right? And we want to have 1 cup. Then you can kind of, you know, fluff it up a little bit because you don't want to pack it down, right? All right. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So just 1 good apple really does that 1 cup. Okay. See all those extra juices? I kind of put some here. I probably should have thought about it going that route too. But we're going to put these apples aside now. And then the great thing about this is that the rest of it, you just mix in a blender. You don't want to mix this in a blender. That's why we grate it. And that's the second part of it. So we want to separate that process, right? But now we've got our apples, our shaved apples. And then now we're going to do some blender work, okay? All right, so our next stage is the blender. So there'll be a little bit of noise. But see how quick this is going so far? All right, these are our ingredients right here, okay? So we're going to have applesauce, oats, right? Organic oats preferred. And a whole grain, not quick oats, just to remind you of that. And then we've got salt, cinnamon, baking powder, vanilla, something about vanilla I always like, and coconut oil, and then 1 egg, and a little bit of honey to sweeten that up a little bit, right? We've got our shredded apples on the side here, and remember we're going to add that later. But right now we're just going to really add all of this into the blender, all right? So we're going to put that in there. Oh, can you see me over there? All right, let me try thinking that out a little bit so I don't have to. I'll put it over here, and I'll come over here, and the oats. All right, and then the baking powder, excuse me. All right. Cinnamon. Da, 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 da. And a little bit of salt. Very little. Vanilla. And coconut oil. Now you got to melt that coconut oil. Coconut oil tends to harden pretty quick in your cupboard. So you have to just microwave it up a little bit, right? You don't want to get it too hot, but you want to make sure it's soft and able to be in the blender, right? And then we're going to put that egg in there, all right? It's kind of an easy one, right? Bada boom. All right. Oh, look what I did. I'll just blend it up. Nobody will know. Just kidding. Oh, I feel like I always do something goofy, don't I? All right, let me see if I can get that. I should make a game. You know, like they used to have when I was a kid. Don't break the ice. Get the egg out of the blender without it cracking. That's funny. Well, I think it is. All right. And then some honey. All right. That's always going to take a little bit. So I got a little spoon just to kind of help that a little bit. All right. Get that honey in there. All right. That's pretty easy stuff though, right? So you just take all these ingredients. Try to get it all in there. That's just the way it is with honey. But you know, sometimes we got those boxes of cereals or pancakes mix we can make, which is adding water. This doesn't take very long, you know? And it's just such a more wholesome way to go about your morning, right? All right, so now we're just going to blend this up. And I always got a spatula next to me when I do things like this in a blender, because you just want to be able to get those sides, right? I think anytime you're mixing things, it's going to make a little noise here. Woo-hoo! Yeah! All right, and then I'm just going to get inside there one time and just get the sides a little bit, just in case, right? And I think we're almost done. So it's going to be good. All right. We're done. Kind of, pretty much, right? So I'm going to take the lid off, take the blender out. And just to keep it simple, you could put it in a mixing bowl, but to be honest with you, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down here, and I'm going to put those apples we talked about before, right? The shredded apples. I'm going to put that in there like that. We'll mix that up. I can smell that apple. It smells so good. And see, what I like about this is sometimes you can make, and I do like oatmeal pancakes or just banana pancakes, but we're going to add bananas on there anyways later, and that sweetens it up a little bit. But I love that combination of the cinnamon and the apples and the oats. And then I'll show you my favorites to kind of complement that a little bit too, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do that I like to do is use a 2-ounce ladle when I ladle this stuff. But I'm going to put the skillet on a little bit, okay? And I'm going to kind of fast forward that a little bit, but just so you see the texture and the finished product. And then we'll talk about it right at the end, okay? All right. Be right back. Shredded the apple, right? We mix that in, right, with the blender. After the blending, excuse me. And then we've got our product, right? We've got our finished items right here, okay? I'm showing you here, but I'm showing you from above a little bit. But if you look real carefully, it's very thick. See all those nice little shavings of the apple in there? It's good like that, right? So the next thing we want to do is give the pan a little flavor and also coat it a little bit. And you don't have to do that much. You want to put some butter in there. I guess it's kind of a lot, but not where it's very, very thick, or runny, like a little pool of sorts, right? You just want to coat it, but it is a flavor thing too. Oh gosh, now listen to this now. It is New Year's Day, so I got to take down my Christmas stuff, but that's one of the, I've got a clock and it plays Christmas songs. All right. All right, so, and then with this, it's very thick. I like that 2-ounce ladle going in there. But because it's so thick, it's going to take a little time, so you have to be patient. Okay? See how I pat it down a little bit? Okay? This is going to feed about 2 to 3 people, depending on how hungry everybody is, how much they like to eat, right? We're going to put 4 of these in here right now. And usually, like, everybody can eat 2. One of the things I was going to talk about, now this is a healthy, nutritional way to have your breakfast, right? But also, always try not to eat a lot when you're starting to try to eat, not necessarily diet, but it's a way of dieting, right? It becomes a way of life, right? It's got to be an awareness how you're eating, right? So while these are cooking, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, right? And I was thinking about a few things, but also portion sizes are really important. Yeah, and once you get your control of your mind a little bit and your tummy, then the rest is kind of easy, and then you just have fun doing that way, right? And you feel stronger, healthier, you feel in control, right? One of the things, though, two other things. Now, of course, I'm doing cooking with Curlee, but I'm going to share some other ideas with you too, right? It's always important to have some kind of exercise regimen, right? And, in the old days, I know I'd work out for like an hour or two, or, it seemed like it at least. There was always a lot of exercise. Of course, I was a lot younger then too. But I do find that if you just give yourself 15 minutes to a half hour of just getting your heart rate up, along with that balance, not eating a lot diet, you're going to be strong and you're going to be really in control of your life. And you're going to see the strength you have too, right? Because sometimes you can overdo that area and make it not so healthy when you exercise too much, right? So, but the third thing, so we talked about eating good. Like this, right? Eating smaller portions. And then we also talked about exercise. But one of my, I stand by this one, is some kind of a meditation or prayer, however you want to look at that, but something that you just give yourself, and I recommend at night or in the day or both, to be honest with you, but in the morning. Because sometimes our day can get distracted with so many other things. But if we just take a moment for ourselves, to just center ourselves, to get connected, whatever that connection point is for you, right? But allow ourselves to maybe sometimes get outside of ourselves and look at ourselves a little more clearly. It helps a lot. And be humble, right? Sometimes get on your knees or light a candle, close your eyes, right? But just, and read something maybe too that's inspirational, right? But you can find it on your own. You can do it by just looking or listening, right? But those are some really great habits on the new year to get yourself into, okay? We're going to finish cooking this, but I'm going to show you how it gets a little browner and a little better too, okay? Right, so here we go. I just pulled them out of the skillet. Did you look at some of the video there a little bit? You got to get careful with them, right? Because it's a slower cooking pancake. Again, be patient. It's worth the wait, okay? But you got to kind of work on each side before you flip them. But you see how crispy it was on that side? And you want the other side to get that crispy too, all right? So this is just something that I like to add to my pancakes. I think for this dish, it's excellent. But I like bananas always with mostly almost anything. Maybe that's just my monkey in me. But I like to cut the banana a little bit this way. It's just one halfway. And then I like to cut it down like that, right? Some people like to, I've gone through different stages. I've been definitely on a roll to cut like this. Well, look at me with my pinky out. That's funny. My father always did that when he drank coffee. He used to always do it. Okay, and then I like raspberries and I like raw slivered almonds, okay? So I'm gonna just we're gonna kind of play around a little bit just to finish the product up a little bit. So put those almonds on it. Look how pretty that looks, huh? Okay, that looks great, right? And then just to add a little bit, well, we'll put the bananas on, I think, next, okay? So again, we've got really just that brown and yellow and beige colors kind of, right? It's attractive though, for sure, looking just like that, right? But then I really like the raspberries on there. Now, the one thing I like to say too, I like the raspberries more for the color, to be honest with you. I think you're just fine with all those bananas. I think we'll leave the bananas like that, okay? Then we're going to put some raspberries on there. And the one thing always with pancakes or anything, I never use anything but pure maple syrup. I'm not a corn syrup kind of guy, and I wouldn't recommend you be one either, okay? Especially if you're trying to eat healthy for the new year or any time, right? That stuff's not too good for you for many reasons, okay? Now, I was thinking a little bit about that meditation, and exercise. I like to swim, and I like to do yoga, but sometimes I like to do a little weightlifting too, just to keep myself toned, right? But whatever it is for you, even if it's just taking a walk, committing yourself is the key, right? All right, so this is the dish that we're all done making now, right? Oatmeal apple pancakes. Gluten-free, sugar-free. Ta-da! All right. Exercise, meditation, and plenty of oatmeal apple pancakes from Curlee's kitchen, right? Cooking with Curlee. Don't forget to subscribe, right? And put some comments on there. Let's kind of interact a little bit. I think that's healthy to do. But the recipe is under descriptions, all right? Remember, amen just means I believe. And I'm going to sing one right now to start the new year out. Amen. 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 Some healthy eating. Amen. Starting right now. Amen. 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 Amen.